and welcome to another crafting video. So today, quickly, I'm just going to introduce what I've got in mind for March, for our journal for March. And we've got all this, I've got all this lovely goodness left over from doing our Amity Journal. And you know, if you don't do something about it straight away, it just gets put away and forgotten about and taking up space. So we're going to make a leftover journal. I think I could come up with a better choice of title for it than leftover journal, but you know what I mean. And we'll be able to use some of the things that we made specifically for the Amity Journal. And then, as always, we'll be doing Catherine Revisited, make some new things to go in it, and the Inspired by, and make some things to go in it as well. So I think it will turn out to be a really nice journal. And so please come and join me. And you know, there are all sorts of bits and bobs. They don't necessarily all go together, but I'll show you how I go about getting some cohesion with the project if I'm using all scraps and leftovers. And the exciting thing is I'm going to be running a raffle. We're going to be running a raffle for the finished journal. And I've got to sort that out yet, but it was something on our Ko-fi page. So you don't physically get the raffle tickets, but you do. You can buy, you know, you can buy as a coffee, and each coffee is a raffle ticket, as it were. And I think that'd be really nice. It gives everybody a chance to get hold of it. So that is that. I hope you enjoyed the flip through of our March journal. Turned out really good, didn't it? I've got my tea. Really pleased with it. Right, 5 minutes crafting for the soul. I've been in a bit of a stamping and colouring mood this week. So that's how it's starting to look. We have got, and obviously we haven't got as many days in February. So this is our February selection there, ready for me to add them in. And so I'll show you. This was out of a Daphne's Diary and I just liked it. So I've done a bit of a collage there with some tickets and some old book page. And then here I've done some stamping. Don't always remember to get the stamps out, and I enjoy stamping once I get going. So there's that one. This one here, I've done some colouring in with watercolour crayons. I've stamped some flowers on and a ticket on there. This one, collage with some papers. I love this bubble stamp. It's really effective on. Stamped a button on there. Again, collage, different book pages. Stamped a flower on there and there. And you know, these are easy things. I'm doing them in 5 minutes, easy. And then this one, we've got this lovely dragonfly. I've got a collage of papers there and some labels. And so they're going to be added. I've put last week's on. These are going to be added onto there. And yeah, I've enjoyed doing that for a change. A bit of stamping and colouring in. Right, so that's really all. It's coming towards the end of the month. I'm letting you know what we're going to be starting. It's the 1st of March on Sunday. Yeah, 8 years since my mum passed away. 8 years on the 1st of March. I don't know where time goes, really. It's funny because sometimes it seems like she's been gone forever, but then 8 years isn't that long, I suppose. The daffodils start coming out. I always remember that. So that's it then. If you're not interested in the books that I'm reading and things to show you, then you know, you can say goodbye now and thank you so much for joining me. If you're here for the books, then let's continue. So I think I'd started reading The Great Deceiver. This is the latest book in the Brighton Mystery series. Now, David and I have both really enjoyed the Brighton Mystery series. And I think this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this is book 7. And it starts not long after the Second World War, and there are a group of men that actually were in like a bit like an SES type special forces group in the war. So they've remained friends as they've come out of the war, and there's a big influence of the music halls in these. So Max Mephisto, one of the guys out of the troupe, and his friend Edgar. Edgar is a policeman and carries on with his role back in the police force once he's back from the war. Max is like a famous magician. So if you like that sort of feel, you know, 40s, 50s, 60s, music halls, and there's a lot of like different characters that go around the Brighton Pier shows and things like that, then I think you'll enjoy this series. I'm not going to read anymore, I don't think, if she's going to carry on with it. I feel like it's done. It's, for me, it's done its run. This felt as if this was quite a long way on from book 1. And they're starting to feel a bit much the same to me, although I did enjoy it. I gave it 3.5, so it's still a good read. But the other ones in the series, I really did enjoy better. And you do get to, you know, get to know the cast of characters, and there's 1 or 2 murders along the line. Elly Griffiths is quite a prolific author. She writes the Ruth Galloway series, which is yeah, she's done loads in that series. I don't even know what number she'd be up to in that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 or 16 in that one. She also, her latest lot are police procedural, couldn't say, which is the Harbinder Core mysteries, more up to date, and they are the Stranger Diaries, Postscript Murders, Bleeding Heart Yard, and The Last Word. I didn't enjoy those as much. I won't be continuing with that series. I couldn't get on with Harbinder Kaur as a main character, and so if it's a series, I've said this before, if I don't really feel the main character, I don't enjoy the series. So yeah, that's the other one for you to take a look at. You might be interested. Right, if you remember, I'm sure it was only last week, I showed you that I'd had a little mini book haul of Ruth Ware books. Decided I'd read this one by one. Now, one of my all-time favourite Agatha Christie books is And Then There Were None. And they're all, you know, marooned on an island, and then they all start getting bumped off. So there's been a murder. Oh, there's been a murder or 2 or 3 or 4. And I really love that mystery. Now, this is a modern day retelling of that, I feel. And this is an alpine ski resort that gets cut off because of the weather, and they have a lot of avalanches and you know, get snowed in, that sort of thing. Now, I enjoyed this. I felt that the plotting was really very clever. The storyline was clever. What I personally didn't like, and it's probably my age, is that the characters, obviously it's like current day, and Ruth Ware has brought, and then they were bang up to date. But the characters, I didn't particularly care what happened to them. It's a startup company, it's an app company. So this is where I'm saying it's my age. I think the youngsters might appreciate it more. It's a music app, and basically people pay so that they can, it's called Snoop, and people pay so they can turn on their radio and it tells them what famous people are listening to at that moment in time anywhere in the world. I mean, what? I mean, who gives a damn if Madonna's listening to some music somewhere, in America? I don't care. So, yeah, definitely must be an age thing, because I think the youngsters probably quite appreciate it. So I do understand that it's been brought bang up to date, and the plot and everything is modern day. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars because it's very clever. It's very fast paced. The pacing's always good with Ruth Ware. And, it takes you a while to work out who's done it. But as for the characters, they could have all been whooped off for me. I didn't really care. But yeah, still an enjoyable one. And I think if, like me and Agatha Christie's, and then there were none, is a firm favourite, then I think you'd appreciate this modern retake on it. Then next I got, and I'm going to show you the little set. So at the same time I got the Ruth Ware little set, I got a little set of Rosamund Pilcher. I've read all Rosamund Pilcher. I first got to know about her through the Shell Seekers, and then there's a lovely book called September. I'm trying to think where some of these were written in the 80s. Yeah, 80s, 90s. I'm not sure if she's still alive, to be fair. And they're lovely. They are lovely comfort reads. Easy to read. You just want something nice and easy. They're a bit of the time, yes. They're not quite PC for today's modern, today's modern PC police. There can be a little bit, the woman stays at home and the man works, and and they can be a bit like that because it's the age they were written in. A lot of them are sort of based in the 50s, 60s, but they're nice and gentle. This one takes place in a Spanish island of San Antonio. And Selena doesn't know who her father is and comes across a photograph and decides it's this famous author that lives in this Spanish island of San Antonio. So off she goes to meet him, and leaving behind a fiancé who tells her what to do and what she can and can't say and all that sort of thing that they used to get involved in. They didn't always marry for love, or wrong reasons sometimes in the 50s, didn't they? Nice, easy read. I've just finished this. 3.5. They're not offensive. They're not offensive. I grew up with Enid Blyton era, and even though those sorts of books, the women stay at home and do the washing and cooking, and the men go out to work, and that's the sorts of books. It's how you're brought up that counts. My dad used to help, my mum worked, my dad used to help out and do everything that my mum did. I was very lucky like that. And, my mum was in nursing, and we were very much introduced to, I suppose we didn't think that this is how the world of misogyny and that sort of life was how everybody lived, because we were taught different. So, you know, it's not quite right, some of the things in here. But you just remember it's of its time, but it's still enjoyable. Nothing that much happens. You know what I mean? You get to the end of it and think, well, you know, it's a whole book and we've just had a few days in this island in the sun. But I still like Rosamund Pilcher. So in this set, because she did a lot of short stories, none of these are, you know, she had The Shell Seekers is a lovely book. And trying to see, it doesn't look like what's she written in here. So this one's called Flowers in the Rain and Other Stories. She's put, in this second collection, we have tried to select stories which present the same varied relationships and aspects of love which were incorporated in the Blue Bedroom. So the Blue Bedroom comes first. For me personally, each story has its own private significance. For readers, I would like to think that they will not only follow honourably in the steps of the Blue Bedroom, but open new ground on their own account. So I think she was quite forward-thinking and out there in a time. So the Blue Bedroom and Other Stories, then obviously is her first short story collection. Flowers in the Rain second. Wild Mountain Time. And Can You Ever Put the Clock Back? Victoria was only 18 when she fell in love with Oliver. When he dumped her, she thought she'd never get over it. Now he is back on her doorstep, widowed and with a 2-year-old son. But can you ever recreate that first great love? Well, off you go, mister. Shouldn't turn up now, it's too late. And then The Day of the Storm. Love isn't always where you expect. So there's always got a bit of a love story there. When Rebecca's mother is dying, does she reveal the existence of relatives Rebecca has never met? Boscava in Cornwall is home to artist Grenville Bayliss, Rebecca's grandfather. When she seeks him out, she finds more than just a family home. She finds a family. So there's a lot of this, finding long-lost relatives, finding fathers you didn't know you got, and all that sort of thing. And a bit of falling in love along the way. So nice, easy, gentle reads. And I should just slowly introduce those in between. If you've got something a bit hard-hitting, then you just want a nice, easy read that you can read in 1 or 2 sittings, don't you? Okay, then. So there we have it. That's everything I've got to say for this week. Have a lovely weekend, everyone, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.